Alright, well, I'm going to show you how to make a gluten-free, egg-free, dairy-free kind of dough. You could use this for a bunch of different things. We found that works really good for pizza crust, pie crust. You can make kind of like a sugar shortbread cookie. Yeah, so it's basically real simple. We just got to mix the dry ingredients first. Alright, so the basic recipe here, and you know, for whatever you need, you can multiply if you need more dough. But generally for like a small two-person serving, I guess you could say, I use 1 cup of specifically the Bob's Red Mill all-purpose baking flour, only because it's just flour. I think there's a little potato starch in there, but that's it. It's like a flour mix. You don't have any other additives or nothing in it. Then I add 1 tablespoon of guar gum, 1 tablespoon of the xanthan gum, and 1 tablespoon of the tapioca starch. Then it's a dash of salt. I'll add a tablespoon of Truvia. You can use sugar, any type of sugar you want, but we prefer the Truvia. After that, it's going to be 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil. Then pretty much the final ingredient is the coconut cream. That's add as needed. You add it until you get it to dough consistency. But that pretty much sums it all up, and it works out beautifully. Alright, now I'm going to add a little bit of coconut oil. It's been a little cool here, so the oil is solidified, which actually can make it easier to work with in this case. Alrighty. Alright, now it's time for the coconut cream. Generally, this stuff comes in a can. I like to transfer it to a jar with one of the wire whisk balls. That way I can, you generally don't use all of it at once, so I'm able to save it, and by putting the whisk in the jar, it allows me to mix it up because this stuff tends to separate. But it keeps for, I don't know, a week or two in the fridge, depending. But I find this really useful. Alright, now that it's all shooken up, I pour a little bit on top, and fold it in. And then I repeat the process over and over again until I get the dough consistency. It tends to take a little bit, but it's well worth it because you end up with a nice pliable dough that doesn't stick to everything and is actually really easy to work with. I kind of happened across this trying to find the right mix because cooking gluten-free just is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're dealing with like breads and crusts, and you tend to get a lot of the recipes out there fall apart even when it looks nice. But just out of dumb luck, I ended up finding just the right mixture, and we've been able to use this for so many different applications. And depending on how much sugar you add, you can make the dough sweeter for like cookies. You can also add herbs and stuff to it, for pie crusts. Pizza crusts, and pie crusts, I guess, depending on what type of pie you're making. If you're making, like a meat pie, or sweeter if you're making, dessert style pie. But yeah, I was surprised, so I figured I'd share this since it's such a pain with the gluten-free stuff out there. So I hope you guys, enjoy it. So. Alright, once it starts getting lumpy, just take your hand, stick it in there, and start working it together. The nice thing about this recipe is that it doesn't really stick to your hands. So your hands stay relatively clean, and you don't need to coat them or put any flour on them or whatever the case is. It's real easy to work with. So this is where you just kind of work it until you get it right into a nice dough ball, and you'll be good to go. Alright, there we have it. And so, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.